What's up,
up?
guys?
Hi, everyone. Oh, I need better lighting. You can barely see my face. The struggle. Who likes my background? You can't see the year, but it says Happy New Year. I guess that's what's important. Hi, Effie. Hi, Joelle. Hi, Andrea.
Let's see. Who do we got in here?
Hi,
I see
Ryan.
Joelle on multiple
Katie.
accounts. Martha, Renville, Iana, Arturo.
Arturo. Yana. I can't roll my
Oh
R's.
man, I don't know how to say. Peasy, Heisey, Ian,
I see
Haley,
Martha.
Ryan. There you go, Ryan. That's how it was. Andrea, Effie. Man, I'm glad to see you guys. Woody the Legend, Jose, Carmen, Bob, Philip, Billy,
Oh, we
Rob,
got Jabs in the house too.
Marcia. Oh man, got a lot of people. A good crowd, yeah. Oh, where'd it go? A good crowd.
I'm doing
There
good,
we go.
Effie. I'm doing good. I gotta do something about this light. Hold on.
She's always worried about that light. It's because you have your background dark, KJ. You just get a lamp. Boom.
Yeah, but then now the blue light doesn't look as cool, but whatever.
You just need to have a light in front of you.
I do. I have my circle light like Oscar does. It looks good on him. I think I just need a new laptop. That's the problem. I need
It's
a better
because
camera.
Oscar's darker skin.
Hey, I just got roasted. My skin got darker because of that, bro. You just roasted me.
It's not me, it's the light, bro. It's your light that's roasting you.
What's up, Effie?
How is everybody doing? How has everyone's New Year's and Christmas been? I hope it's been amazing. Super excited to be back here with you guys. For those of y'all that don't know how the Monday night lives work, this is Q&A, and whatever questions you have, ideally multifamily related, but ask away. That's what we're here to do. We got 1 hour worth of time. So this is the time to take advantage of our time and just ask whatever questions you've got. So keep them coming. Oh, thank you, Martha. Oh, where'd it go? Thank you, Martha. Appreciate that.
Aw, thank you, Martha.
Always looking out. Woody the Legend. First question of the night.
Joseph's favorite.
What is the cap rate? This is my least favorite question, but I've gotten it down now. I've been asked it so many times. And we plan on doing a YouTube video on just this question. So a cap rate is just a ratio to explain a relationship. And it's the relationship between what a property is valued, what it's worth, and the amount that it is producing every year. So the NOI and the value. Cap rate is literally just that ratio that explains that. So that's all it is. That's really all it is. I can't simplify it any further than that. It's just a measurement to explain how well the property is doing, what it's worth. That's all it is. You guys want to take a crack at that?
No, I feel like you hit it pretty good.
Got it, bro.
Yana said baby mud is holding on.
There we go.
That's how I feel. Let's see. Oh, Joelle's got a question.
What do we got? Okay. So Vina brought up a point about cash calls being careful who you partner with. So does of us who join the 1% of the equity, what are the rules we have to follow? I'm not exactly clear on the question. Can you maybe rephrase what you're asking, Joelle? And I'll answer what I think you're asking. So a cash call. Okay, so when you're part of a property, when you have a percent of ownership in the property, There is sometimes where you have negative cash flow, right? Which is not an ideal situation, but there are times where you may have a negative cash flow. And when you do have negative cash flow, you still have to pay your mortgage. So, how do you pay the mortgage, right? Well, either you pay it out of the reserves that you have, but if there's no reserves, you have no reserves left, or it may have been negative for a few times. What they can do is a cash call. So, everybody that has percent of ownership in the property, they can do a cash call for whatever amount that they need. You are responsible for your percentage of that amount. So, let's say you need 100,000, right? It's a very small amount, but let's say they need 100,000 to get through. So, and they call a cash call, and you own 5% of the property. So you would be entitled for 5% of that 100,000, which is just 5K. But if it's a much greater number, right, 5%, that number grows. So it's definitely something you have to be aware of. I think that's what your question was, Joel. I hope that helps. Okay, next one. Yana says, what is IRR? IRR is the internal rate of return. It's another percentage that explains a ratio or a relationship on how much you are going to make over the time held. And honestly, I don't even worry about IRR, to be honest with you. I don't even look at it. I don't care about it. All I care about is the returns for the investors and the exit strategy. That's all I care about. If the returns for the investors are good, and sometimes, I'll throw this out there. I'll look at the equity multiple too. How much are the investors going to double their money, or how much are they going to multiply their money by? So that's the third thing I look at. But really, it's just those first two. The returns for the investors, can we exit comfortably? That's it. I wouldn't even worry about IRR. Maybe down the road, once you're getting more advanced and into it, we don't deal with it at all. I mean, we see it, but it's not something that we care about. Our investors don't ask us about it. They just want the returns.
This is a good question for Oscar.
Yeah, good, Oscar.
Okay.
Jabs.
Oh, Jabs. After doing napkin underwriting, and I determined that the purchase price makes sense, what's next? Like, I get stuck in that position when the price looks good. Cool, bro. Typically, when you do the napkin underwriting, you have already had some sort of financials in front of you, like the T12 or the rent roll or both. So you kind of know what the NOI is based on the information that they've given you. So you napkin underwrite based on the NOI and the market cap rate. You determine what your purchase price should be or your offer price, right? So if that looks good, then Jabs, what you would do is then take a closer look and go and deep dive the deal itself, right? So for example, if they're asking 10 million and your napkin underwrite came in at around, I don't know, maybe 12 million or 11 million or something like that. So you got something there. There's something that you can do. The next step would be to go and underwrite the deal. So go put it into an analyzer and see what the numbers say, right? That's the next step would be to do a deep dive underwriting after you've determined whether or not it's a good deal or not on the napkin level. Hope that helps, Jabs.
I think that's a really good question because a lot of people ask us that. I think it's now the most asked question. It's like, okay, what do I do now? That's what you do. You take it to the next step. Well said, Oscar.
Good question.
I want you to say this one, KJ.
No, I can't roll my R's.
Arturo.
That sounds so white.
It was so funny. And her last name was Flores, just so all of y'all know. It was Flores. Not anymore.
Y'all would never know.
Yeah, never. When talking to a seller, what main questions do y'all ask to generate an offer? You want to answer this one, KJ?
Sure. You can't generate an offer unless you have financials. So you need to make sure that you have all the financials. You need to make sure you I think it's important to know what the seller really wants, because I mean, you could come up with offers all day, and if it doesn't cater to what their end goal is, then you're just going to be going back and forth. So I think finding out what their goal is, like, is it, hey, I need a cash out, I got investors to pay off? Or is it, hey, like, I'm stuck on a certain price point, like, I want this price or I don't want to sell? Some people want to avoid taxes and want to park money elsewhere. So you want to find out what their pain is, what they're looking to do, and then you need to underwrite it. So you need to, the main questions is like, why are they selling? And then getting a T12 and a rent roll. If it's like a mom and pop seller, then you're going to have to do a little like deeper underwriting, kind of doing assumed expenses, assumed income, depending on what kind of information they give you, which would mean your offer is going to have to be more conservative than if they actually gave you good financials, and they're going to have to understand that. But I think that's the most important thing. Like, you can't generate an offer without that information. Did I miss anything?
No, that's it. You got it.
Okay, cool.
I think this is Joel restating his question. So yeah, that what I said is definitely the answer for that. It's like if you are 1% of equity, you're responsible for 1% of the cash call. If they do a cash call down the road, you are responsible for 1% of whatever it is that they call for. Rob Dodd, interest rates.
You didn't say it.
I know I didn't at that time. Interest rates rose so fast. Are we going to see more lenders / major brokerages foreclose on some commercial multifamily that has their bridge loan / balloon come due when cannot refi and cash flow? I think Oscar, you should answer that one.
Rob, the answer is yes. You're going to be seeing a lot of stuff coming up here due very soon. A lot of bridge loans coming due, and a lot of these investors who bought on a bridge loan maybe a year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe even if that, that are going to come due and they can't sell, right? So they have maybe one or two options. One, they sell for a loss, or two, they just let it go, right? And a lot of times they do have to get out of it because they have investors that they need to pay off. So even if it comes at a loss, then they probably still have to sell at a loss just to try to pay some of that initial capital that those investors put in. So yes, you're going to be seeing a bunch of stuff, Robert. That's why we're saying that right now is the best time to get into multifamily, because you're going to see a bunch of stuff very soon. So yes, the answer is yes. You are going to see a lot of stuff come up.
Hey, real quick, Oscar, your mic was having a little bit of like muffle to it, but then it came back towards the end. So just a heads up, it was sounding, you were like a little under. You sounded like KJ's computer did for. But I could hear you. I could hear you. Yeah, it came through clear at the end.
Cool.
And I just realized, Joseph, your Wi-Fi is working now.
Yes, I have the router right next to me now. We complained for those of y'all that have been watching and have been following along, we complained to the internet company that we just got, and they sent us another thingy, a router. I don't want to say the name because you never know who's watching, right? People can go and hack into it, whatever nonsense. Yeah. So we have 3 of them now. So we have 3 for a small house.
That's great.
But it's working great now. So whatever we got to do, right? Okay. Kim says, when you set up the deal and include the LP, do you state what the potential cash call may be? How do you vet your LPs to be able to answer the cash call? That's a good question. It's a good question. So you aren't setting up the cash call. The cash call means that you're in a tight spot and you're having to get out of the tight spot. So cash call is like a last resort type of thing.
Yeah, I was like, don't we like look for deals that aren't going to put us in that position in the first place?
Yeah, you're
like
looking.
That shouldn't be something you're thinking. Well, I mean, obviously you do need to think about it, worst case scenario, but you want to find a deal and set yourself up to where like that's not even something you have to worry about.
Yes, exactly. That you want to do your underwriting and do a lot of stress testing on it. All kinds of situations like, okay, what happens if we need to sell this year? Okay, what about this year? What about this year? Like you go through and figure all these things out and really deep dive into the underwriting. But you're saying, how do you vet them? If they can't make the cash call, they lose their equity in the deal. They're essentially pushed out of the deal. They're no longer in it because they weren't able to follow through their agreement, right? So ideally, you shouldn't have to do cash calls, but when you do, that's what happens. If you can't make it, you're pushed out. Somebody else has to cover that portion, and that person who covers it absorbs their equity.
Do you guys think, like, coming off from the get-go, saying like this is just me thinking out loud, like coming off to investors like, hey, are you going to be able to perform on a cash call? Do you think that would be like a red flag like for investors?
I wouldn't ask that. I would more so ask, what's your liquidity? You know, how much do you have ready to invest, and what do you have as like total funds like available, right?
Yeah.
Probing questions rather than just directly, hey, what happens if you pass off? What happens if we fail and can't do what we're telling you we're going to do? Are you going to be able to give us more money? That's what you're asking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, I think it would scare off our investors and trusting in us.
Love it. KJ, love it.
Well, this is like me thinking out loud, like how would that conversation go? But yeah, that's a good idea. Just say how, how liquid are you? How much cash you got in the bank?
Yeah, I think it's more so, rather than asking them those questions, it's more so build up that relationship with them so you can get more of understanding on how liquid they are and what they're comfortable investing in and how much they have ready to invest and things like that. I mean, the more you talk with these people and get comfortable with them, I mean, they're humans, right? Just have a normal human conversation with them. And yes, it's about money, and we were all taught to be scared or not talk about money with other people, but that's not the way to do things. I mean, this is a business, it's a business transaction. You should be able to talk about whatever it is that you need to talk about. Just like I said before, don't be afraid to ask any question. You're about to purchase $1 million property, multi-million dollar property. You need to ask all the questions you can ask. So that goes for your investors too that want to buy into the property. You need to ask them as many questions as you can. You got to do your due diligence with them. So went off on a little tangent there, but I hope that was helpful. Oh, I see you were calling me out, Oscar.
Oh, look, Effie supporting us. Everyone hit that like button.
Thank you, Effie. Love all you guys supporters. The supporters are amazing. We got Joelle. This is a question for KJ.
What are some of the big don'ts when calling brokers? You know, when Vina had that calling brokers Zoom, I wasn't able to get in, and I'm sad. I really want to rewatch it because she did a very different approach than what we do, which I love. Like, I love hearing different ways people do things, and like, how can I compare it and adjust to what I'm doing and get feedback. So I'm like super bummed out because like there was a lot of gold nuggets that she dropped in there that are very different than what we do. And like for me, like I always say that like we're honest, but like what she was saying is like kind of telling fibs and saying, you're doing more than you are. But like I like the way that she worded it and handled it. And it was like very eye-opening. I was like, maybe that's not a bad idea. But for me, well, the way I did it has worked. So just being honest and upfront with them about what we're doing and what our intentions are and what our plans are have worked for me. But
She said, just lie.
Yeah, Vina, I would love to see the recording because there were so many things I wasn't able to get in the Zoom, and I want to rewatch it and take more notes. It was amazing. And I was like, man, how can I compare that to like what I'm doing? And so some of my big don'ts were some of her do's. So it was like, oh, like I guess it does work either way. So I don't know. I think it's whatever works for you and your personality and how you go about it. Because me being honest, like I can't lie to save my life anyways. Even if I wanted to lie, you will see it on my face or it'll catch up to me later on. So just
This is true.
being honest and cute and sweet and Texan, people love that. So that works for me. And I don't know. I don't know if I have really any big don'ts. I think I don't know. Am I like forgetting something? My brain is like fried.
I don't think so.
I think it's different for everyone. It depends on like what approach you want to do, and then fail forward. Like there's a lot of times where I definitely sounded really dumb on the phone, and yeah, had to fail forward and figure out I don't know what to say there, and I would like awkwardly hang up and then I call them a week later and hopefully they didn't remember who I was because I was like, I don't know what that means, I don't know what they're asking, and like I would freak out. So I think just taking action and figuring out which way works best for you is the best way.
Well said, KJ. Well said. Okay. Vanessa Garcia says, "What analyzer do you suggest?" Loaded question. It's kind of similar to what KJ said. It's more so dependent on how you like to underwrite. There's some people have made just for themselves, which we are trying to make our own, that handles creative finance as well, because we haven't found one that does creative financing the way we would like it to be done, right? There's some that have, small owner financing component to it, but it doesn't really work in the way that we're trying to use it, right? So we have three that we use, and I'll let Oscar say the second one if he wants to, but we have the one that I consider the more beginner level is the Michael Blank syndicated deal analyzer. That one's fairly cheap to get, and it's pretty simple to use, and it comes with a tutorial. I definitely suggest that everyone start on that one or something similar or price wise. It's pretty easy to use. The middle one, I'll call it the intermediate, and if Oscar wants to disclose it, he
Yeah,
can.
sure. You can go ahead, bro. I'm good with that.
Okay. So you have to be part of this group that Oscar is a part of, and you get it for being a part of that exclusive group. It's the what's the name of it? I don't even know the name of it.
My First Million in Multifamily Analyzer.
There you go. It's that one, and it is much pricier, but that's the one I like to use. I've gotten pretty good at it, and it works very well. I do enjoy using that one. That's the one I like to use. And then there's a third one, which I would consider the more advanced one. I also like this one too, but it's definitely much more of an advanced one. It is Real Data Pro. I believe that's the name of it. That one's like $1,000, I think. 800,000 bucks. I don't remember exactly, but that one's pretty good too. And that one does have a seller financing component, but it's more like just creating an additional mortgage to the property. So it's really up to you on what you want to use. I think all of those are good options, and I think you should have multiple to try out and test, and then eventually maybe go create your own, like we're trying to do. And we will keep you guys up to date when that is finished. It's still work in progress. Jessica says, what are some realistic strategies or structures to obtain a GP ownership on a first-time deal given no multifamily experience? Ooh, I like that one. You guys want to take it?
Yeah, I'll give an example on our first one, right? So for us, Jessica, we had no experience in multifamily, and we certainly didn't have any money as well. So we started off with no money, just trying to get into multifamily. So we really had no idea what we were doing, Jessica. It wasn't until like we started putting ourselves out there that we were letting people know that we were doing multifamily and what we were learning and everything. that someone reached out to us and they heard about us, they knew who we were, and they brought us a lead, right? It wasn't even a deal yet, it was a lead. And at that point, we just took action and we started underwriting the deal, and we negotiated this one. The first one we did was seller finance, a 30-unit deal in South Texas, and we negotiated fantastic terms. And so we did a lot of the sweat equity because we had nothing else we could do. So we found the deal. So if you are in the position where you have no multifamily experience, then the best experience that you can, or the best thing you can do to bring someone or bring value and potentially be part of a deal, is to bring them a deal. But also add value to that, right? Don't just say, here are the financials and see you later, right? Like some people do, right? They'll just send the financials and expect to be paid or something, right? Yeah, it's much more than that. So for us, we brought the deal, we negotiated the deal, we underwrote the deal, and then we brought it to someone who we can leverage, and they basically, you know, they took over the deal because of their experience. But we also asked, what is it that we can do to get into the deal, right? And the best thing that you can do in the beginning to get into a deal is, in our opinion, is to get a deal that's in your backyard so you can be boots on the ground for that deal. That's probably the number one best thing to do to get into a deal, is to be boots on the ground. So if you have a deal, Jessica, and it's in your backyard, you found the deal, you negotiated the deal, you're underwriting the deal, and you bring it to someone, then that's one of the things that you can do, is be boots on the ground. That's how we got our first deal.
Well said.
That was good.
That's just one example. There's lots of ways, but that's probably the easiest entry.
Yeah, and I will say this too. I was talking to someone, and they said, I want to be part of a deal. And they said, but I don't know if I should be an LP or not. Being an LP is also one of the most underrated things that you can hear, because some people don't want to be LP, they just want to be GP. You can still learn being an LP, being part of a deal that way. That's also another way to get into a deal. So don't discredit being an LP in someone's deal. Obviously, do your own research, do your own due diligence. We're not financial advisors.
Where's the banner? Hold on. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, we're not attorneys, CPAs, or anything, right? Go and do your own due diligence and your own research. But being an LP is also another part. Like, it's powerful. You can also get into a deal that way and learn the process being an LP. So don't discredit that portion as well, Jessica.
I was about to say, I would prefer to be an LP. Like, I wanna have so much money that I'm just sitting back and just giving it to you guys to run the property. Like, that's my end goal. I would love that. But
Passive income, guys.
For now, this is good. This is a good way for us to learn, so that way we know what we're investing in. So that way we know, hey, our money, I know you, whether or not you know what you're doing, it's good experience.
All right. We got AJ. Hi, guys. I am still trying to understand this. How do I pay 20% of the down payment? I think maybe he means, how do I pay a 20% down payment? And if so, there's multiple ways to pay it. If you've got the money, I mean, you could pay it yourself. Even if I did have the money, I don't think I would pay it myself. I would go and raise it from other people. That's what an LP is, a limited partner. It's someone that is in the deal only due to the fact that they put money into the deal. That was someone that you went out and raised equity for this deal, and you paid that down payment in cash with other people's money. So that's how you would do it. I mean, there's lots of raising capital, masterminds. I know Vina does one too. There's multiple, and then Amy Majori as well. There's multiple resources out there for understanding and getting better at that. If you're in sub 2, Pace does so many raising capital things, but that's what you're doing, is you're raising capital from other people. And where's that disclaimer again? There's lots of ins and outs about it, so do your research and make sure you consult a attorney if you are going to partake in that and take money from people. So just make sure you do it correctly and safely. think we got one here. Billy Burke. Example purchase price is 17 million, 7 mil assumable at 2.9%, 10 mil difference. Is there lending for the difference, or would you need to raise the capital or go get owner finance? Ooh, that's a good question.
I was like,
So
can't you do all of it?
yeah, I mean, it's all an option. All of those are options. You could pay the difference. You can go raise the difference. You can get lending for it. It's usually called a supplemental loan. They're not great right now just because of all the interest rates and everything that's going on, but it's something you can do. You could also, what did that guy called it? What did that guy call it, Oscar? Preferred equity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So you could do that. If the loan allows owner financing, if it allows for a second position lien, you can just do a straight up owner finance with the seller. If it does not, then what you can do is the preferred equity, which is the same thing. It's just owner financing, but it's instead of being a separate loan, it's a supplement. So it's a loan added to the original loan. I think that's all the options, at least the ones that we know. But yeah, there's always a way to make it happen if the seller is willing to work with you.
Billy, if you can do a subject to, you can also do subject to. You don't have to
Absolutely.
assume it.
Yep. And then you'd still have to figure out what to do with the difference, but then you're not having to deal with another loan or getting a loan. So it makes it a little bit easier to get in. And if they're willing to sub to, then I think you could definitely work out some kind of creative strategy, creative financing with them to make the deal work. And if that's a real deal, let me know. We'd love to look at. Okay. That question. The seller will loan you the 20% and be put into second position, and you pay them back as well. 20% doesn't come from your pocket. How exactly does it work? That would be a seller financing. Right. You want to explain that one, Oscar or KJ? Either or.
Let me read that again. AJ, the replies I get: the seller will loan you the 20% and be put in second position and pay them back as well. 20% doesn't come from your pocket. How exactly does that work? So that sounds like seller finance to me. The seller will loan you 20% and put it in second position. Yeah, that sounds like seller finance. But it sounds like if he's second position, then that means there's an existing loan for the first position.
Yeah, so you either need to assume that and have the liquidity or need a KP to take over that. And if he's only willing to do 20%, is there more equity that he's expecting to get paid as well that you need to figure out how to pay? I would wonder that too, because if there is, then it's like if he's only giving you 20%, well, then you have to come up with 80% of whatever equity he wants. Are you talking, Oscar?
Yeah, so the first position would be the existing loan, whatever the first position may be, and then your AJ, your scenario, the 20% will be put in second position. That's a seller finance component to it. So there sounds like there's two components to this deal. So what I'm saying is you're probably having a first position loan on the deal from a lender, and then the 20% the seller will carry as a second position. That sounds like a hybrid. That's what that sounds like. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
No, it sounds exactly right.
Yeah. Which is still a pretty good thing if the numbers work, AJ. I would just underwrite and see if it works.
Yeah, everything always comes back to the underwriting. Like you could talk in circles about the different possibilities and things like that, but really what really matters is what does the underwriting look with that specific scenario? And if it looks good, hell yeah, do it. Lorraine, does market time matter with commercial deals in terms of negotiation, like 180 days, 360 days on market? Ooh, that's a good question. You want to answer that one, KJ?
I would think no. I think if anything, it just is showing motivation or maybe some type of pain point or negotiation. Like to me, that means, okay, you knew for this long that your price does not work. So it's like, if you don't know by now to drop your price, or maybe it's an opportunity for me to come in and give a better solution, like a seller finance opportunity, you know, maybe someone hasn't given them that opportunity or something that works in their favor. To me, I think that's opportunity. Or it's just like you waiting for them to have a wake up call.
Yeah, tell them how long we waited for the Tennessee deal, KJ.
What was it, 8 or 10 months?
It was on the market
8
for
when
8
we
months.
started. When we started talking to him, it was 8 months.
And that was before it closed or went
Mhm.
under contract.
Mhm.
Yeah, that. I think it's a good thing to me, in my opinion.
Agreed. Definitely. I would absolutely say yes. Now, how much it affects just depends on the seller, right? Are they in a rush? Do they have some kind of other pain point that they have to get it done in a certain time? So it really just is dependent on what kind of seller you have and what their situation is. But I absolutely think time on the market is definitely a factor. And Effie, yes, thingy is definitely a technical term. In this household, it is.
That's so funny.
Okay, let me see what we got. Let's see.
Can you hear me clicking?
Yes. Okay, we got one from Lorraine. When looking at listings, are there any telltale signs as to why the owner could be selling? Brokers sometimes give vague answers as to why they're selling. I don't know. You guys know this one?
I mean, sometimes it just depends. I think, I don't know, some brokers are sorry, as Oscar would say. Some of them just don't want to get paid. They don't want to work. They don't want to answer their phone calls, which is annoying. Because this one broker, this deal, I'm like, it's an opportunity, and like you won't answer your phone. I left you voicemails. You won't. I'm about to go call your above partner and then see who calls and answers me. Um, I think being straightforward and telling them, hey, I need to know what their intentions are or what their goal is, so that way I can give an offer that accommodates that. How can I don't want to go back and forth sending in offers. I want to solve the seller's problem. So like, how can I come in and do that? I don't know. I'm very straightforward and to the point and transparent and honest. Like that's who I am. So that's how I would go about it. I'm not going to play games. Like this one person was like, go read what I put. I'm like, I can read. I'm calling you because I'm trying to put an offer on this property and I want to know more information. Like I'm not here to text you and send you emails. I'm going to pick up the phone because I'm trying to do business. Like, do you want me as a buyer or not? I mean, like some of these brokers need their butt handed to them. Remember, you're the prize.
Words of wisdom. Don't get your butt handed to you. Hand it to them. That was a good one. Way to go, Ben. Jab says, who are you guys studying in the multifamily space?
That's
Solid
a good
question.
question.
Yeah. Anybody and everybody who's doing better than me. That's who I'm studying. So I know we got Vina, Pace, our mentor Carlos. There's another guy, I don't remember his name, George, I believe, with the Elevate. I've listened to a couple, Jake and Gino. There's another guy on some podcasts that I'm listening to. You really just anybody that is successful in what you want to do, listen to as many different perspectives as you can and take what calls to you, attracts to you, and has proven success record, and merge that into your own strategy. And if your strategy just happens to look exactly like what they're doing, then that works too.
Yeah, this is a good question.
Reinvent the wheel.
I was telling Joseph the other day, or was it today? I don't know. I was like, I know I need to be learning more, but I don't know where to go find that. Because I was like looking on Amazon for books, and I'm like, well, how do I know that this book isn't outdated? Or how do I know that this person thinks the way that they should, or that they're teaching it the way that I should be learning it? So then I'm like, oh, now I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, I just want, like, why can't there be a little multifamily library of like, these are all the people doing it, this is their experience, this is what they teach, you know? So I could just go pick, because like I'm like trying to figure that out too, because obviously we want to keep growing and learning every day, and I know there's a lot more for us to learn, and I'm like, where can I go to get the information I need? I'm like, you know, I'll pray about it. God will put that person in front of me when it's the right time. But it's a good question, because I need to find some more information to learn. So if y'all know somebody or find somebody, let us know. Hook us up.
Yeah, and I know Myron just joined. What was it, a Raising Capital, or he joined some other mastermind? I think it was Raising Capital. Okay. Julie Burkhart says you got to work on your Texas accent.
It comes out sometimes.
Oh, it comes out. Trust me. She's earned that mud name. That's for sure. Yellow country.
I know, he makes fun of me, and then I get all embarrassed.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Effie says, "Know thyself." Okay. Jab says, "What is JBM's goals for 2023? I know we're going to hit 1,000 units, but what are y'all's other goals?" That's a good question. Honestly, my only real business goal is to hit 1,000 units, and I will figure it out after that. But I'm like just so focused on that and mentally preparing for this kid to come into the world. And honestly, that's really all that's been on my mind. I mean, I have other like personal goals, but as far as business goes, I mean, that's really it. I'm just really focused on that. I don't know about you guys, but that's really it for me.
Yeah. So me and Ione have talked about this, right? Because I'm pretty sure, guys, and this includes you two, and then Carolyn and Myron, that when we hit the 1,000 units, it's not going to stop there. I'm positive it's not going to stop there, Jabs. All that's going to do, Jabs, is get us to the next level. And that next level could be 2,000 units, it could be 3,000 units, or it could be something completely different, like mixed use units, or maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying that I think when we get to that level, Jabs, it's just going to get us to a level that we want to be financially, I guess you can say. And if we're not there yet, then we will still keep going. But I just don't see us getting there and being done. I
Yeah,
don't. It's just
I
gonna
like sports,
snowball.
you know?
Yeah, I mean there
Sports
are
are
different
cool.
things like personal goals that we all have, right? Like we all want to do different things. I think that's just gonna allow us to have that freedom, Jobs, to when we get there to go and pursue the things that we really want to do. And I think that's the ultimate goal is once we get there, like, yeah, it'll put us at a different level. But I think just because of all the momentum that's gonna keep happening, we're gonna it's just meant to be greater than that. I believe that. And then after that, we will do whatever we actually want to do. And don't get me wrong, we love real estate. This is what we're passionate about. We're obsessed with it. All we think about is real estate. We hop on every day. We talk about real estate. You should see our chats, Jabs. We have a text group chat. All we talk about is real estate, multifamily, single family. That's all we talk about. So when we get there, like for us, I know that me and Ione, we have personal goals. Joseph and KJ, same thing. And then Carolyn and Myron, they have their own dreams and goals as well. So with that, 1,000 units will help us get to those dreams and goals that we want to do in our personal goals.
I think also our word of the year is delegate too. I think that's something that we're trying to figure out, because obviously to level up, we're going to have to slowly start replacing ourselves, or at least have people under us doing what we're doing so we can focus on bigger, better things. So I know that's something we're going to have to start figuring out as well. Don't know how we're going to do it, but you know, I didn't think we could do what we're doing now either, and we did it. So I think everything's possible. Huh?
I said, walk by faith, not by sight.
Exactly.
Mary says, how do you structure your entities? Working as a team of 6, do you have one LLC with 6 members? Yes. Or separate LLCs? Yes. We have both. I guess I should elaborate further on that. Yeah, so we all had our own individual, each couple had an LLC that they were operating under for single family. We still have those LLCs, and anytime we close on single family, we just JV with all three of those. That's how we do that with single family. With multifamily, for every property that you get, you want to have a different LLC specific to that property. Let's say for whatever reason something happens and now you're being sued from one of the tenants or somebody that tripped and fell at that property. You don't want them to be able to sue all of your properties. You only want them to be able to reach that one property, if at all. So every single property you get, you're going to open up a new LLC, a subsidiary LLC or secondary LLC. It's probably not called secondary, but that's how I'm explaining it. And then you have a parent LLC or the housing LLC, and that is your main core LLC. That's what you use. That is the LLC, and everything else, it's like it has branches, right? So here's a property, here's a property, here's a property. And so all these separate property LLCs are owned by this parent LLC. So this parent LLC is one LLC with 6 members. And that's how we do it. And there's other ways to do it too, but that's just how we do it. That's how we were taught. And there's all other kinds of ways you can go about it too. Carmen says, can we bring it to you guys? I have no idea what you're talking about, but if it is a multifamily property, absolutely. Definitely bring it to us and we can let you know more about it or if it's something that we would pursue or not pursue. Okay, that's fine. That's funny. I'm looking for a question. There we go. Joelle says, what is the sweet spot for a deal? What is a good balance between cash flow and equity and learning?
That's not a me question, so.
Yeah, so you're gonna hate me, but I'm gonna say this: it always comes back to the underwriting. Like first and foremost, does it make sense for the investors? And if not, there's no point in going any further. So that's where I would start. Are the returns good for the investors? And can we exit comfortably in whatever the exit strategy is? That's first and foremost. And with that, your cash flow is considered, the equity is considered, all that goes into that. But you're trying to figure out, are the returns good? Can you exit comfortably? Once you get those two answered, if you can get those two answered, the deal is going to be worth it. If those make sense, then the learning and the experience and the knowledge that's going to come with it, absolutely, dude. You made that, KJ?
Because you have to say that so many times. I made you a banner.
Totally just threw me off. He totally threw me off. But that is hilarious. I love that. Yeah.
We can start applying that.
All the knowledge and experience is gonna absolutely be worth it. Like on our first deal, we took a huge pay cut. But honestly, knowing what we know now, like it was definitely a blessing to even get that percentage for the minimal effort that we are doing in the deal. And that was just because we had an awesome partner that was generous, right? And not every partner is going to be that way. So anytime you can get your foot into the door on a deal and learn, absolutely worth it. Obviously, you need to make sure it's a good deal first, and then it's worth it. So I hope that answers that question. You totally threw me off. I lost all train of thought there.
Well, it's like that's a response to so many questions all the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just make a banner. Yeah. That's funny. Okay, let's go faster. We got 10 minutes.
Okay. If it doesn't meet the $1 million upside, do you pass on it? Do you look creative? Yes, we do pass on it. If we're not going to make $1 million on it, then there's no point. We can just go do a different deal. Definitely. There we go. Is there a preferred cash-on-cash return you guys look for on a deal? Yes. Starting at 4% with Class A's, 5% for Class B's, 7% for Class C's. Obviously, the better, the greater, the better, but that's where we start. If it doesn't hit that, it's not a good deal. Oh, there we go. Darth Jader. Continuing AJ's question, seller owns property free and clear, but only wants to carry 20%, and getting a lender for 80% down is crazy. Absolutely, I would not do that. There is no lender that would give you 80% in this market right now. If you found one,
60.
yeah, when I look at the underwriting and I'm doing a cash deal, I am doing 60 to 65% loan to value, because that's the loans that I have been seeing. Anything higher than that is rare to see. And if you are seeing it, then your interest rate is extremely high for the most part. That's very generalized.
But I mean, you could do it, but then you would have to go raise another 20%, right?
Yeah, that would be an option to do that. Get a loan for 60%, raise 20% from other investors, and then the seller would hold the remaining 20%.
But but it depends on the underwriting.
That is correct.
See, this is why I made that, because I'm like, everything comes back to that. Is like that strategy could be an option, but it depends on this right here. Doesn't make sense in the underwriting. Doesn't make sense for the return. So you can get creative all day. It just matters about the numbers. It's
hilarious. Funny. Billy said that deal is in Washington. Yeah, we are not interested in Washington. Sorry, Billy. Oh, another one from Billy. Is there a commercial building being rented on the same property as the multifamily? Do you count the income separately? Ooh, great question. You want to answer that one, Oscar?
Yeah, I asked this question to our mentor one time when we were like brand new to multifamilies, like because we used to get mixed use properties come across our desk, and we were freaking out, Billy, because we had no idea what to do. But in reality, we were freaking out for no reason, because you underwrite the deal the exact same way as you would a traditional multifamily deal. It's just that you have commercial space underneath it, right? And your typical, I'm not very knowledgeable in the retail space, but your ideal situation would it be to get a property that has a what they call a triple net lease? And I think Joseph and Ione can tell you more about that. But it's basically one of the best types of leases you can get out there for a mixed use multifamily deal. But to answer your question, you underwrite it the exact same way that you would any other multifamily deal. It's just income that's being provided by the tenant that's renting out that space underneath. So don't let it scare you off. I mean, it just make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure that the T12 and the rent rolls are accurate. Make sure that they're telling you the correct information. It's everything that you're supposed to do in a multifamily deal. They give you the information, trust, but verify. Basically, is all I can tell you. But you don't do anything different that I'm aware of, unless you want to add anything to that, Joseph.
Nope, that was a solid answer. Well, actually, the only thing I'll add is the triple net lease. For those that don't know, a triple net lease is, like Oscar said, the best that you could get on commercial lease. Essentially, what it is you, as the owner, are not responsible for anything except the common area spaces. Like if there's a hallway, a main hallway, the lighting or whatever it is, the tenant, whoever the tenant is responsible for paying everything for that space. The taxes, the insurance, the rent, everything, all the utilities, everything. They are responsible for all of those things. And Effie, we forgive you.
We love Effie. She's awesome.
Yes, and
Mary too. We love Mary too.
Darth Jader. I think, okay, this is the same question from before. And these are potential terms: 0% interest and principal payments for 10 to 15 years. That sounds great. Absolutely. I would love to get a deal like that. That would be awesome.
But is it amortized for 10 to 15 years?
Yeah, because I mean, there's no interest, so it's just principal payments for 10,
Yeah,
15
but
years.
is that still going to? I don't know. I guess because I know how mortgages are with like 15 years. Like to me, you know how like when we see properties and people in the single family space, they have a 15-year loan. Well, it's like, well, now there's not room for cash flow versus like if they had a 30-year loan. So it's like if you could get it amortized for 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years would be better. 50 years would be even better.
With a
But
balloon at 10 to 15.
alone in multifamily is typically anywhere from like 3 to 10 years is the normal, just depending on what type of loan. So 10 to 15 would be pretty good. If you can get 10 to 15, that's not bad, as long as everything makes sense. The underwriting looks good.
Back to the banner. Yeah, I guess that's what's different.
Billy says, "Why are y'all so awesome?" Thanks, Billy.
Oh,
Thank
word.
you, Billy.
I don't know. We fail forward just like every single one of you guys. I promise you that.
We just come on here and share about it and laugh
Yeah,
about
we wear our pants one leg at a time and our shoes backwards like everyone else. Wait, what?
it.
Speak for yourself, man. 3 legs at a time over here. Just kidding. The Knoxville deal. Did the seller? No, the seller did not have a mortgage. It was 100% free and clear, completely seller finance deal. Okay. Team Baby Mud. Let's go.
She's already got fans.
Ooh, that's a good question. How many hours are you each putting in per day, and how many days per week? A lot.
A lot.
At least from 9 to 9, because we're on right now. So that's generally every day. So I would say anywhere from 8 to 12 hours. Some days we have things to do, so it's an 8-hour day, and other days we're just working, so it's like 12 hours. And it's at least 5 days a week, and sometimes on Saturday and Sunday. So it just depends, whatever we've got going on.
Did you have anything else, Oscar? Or do you agree?
No, I think just to add on that, we worked through almost all the holidays except for Christmas and New Year's. So we were still working, Effie. We put in the work. And as a business owner, I'm sure you already know, Effie, you have to do what you have to do. There is no 9 to 5. It's 9 to whenever. Basically, not even 9. It's probably like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, if you're Ione, then yes.
Yeah, I have to force myself to stop working. And so if you guys message us and it takes me a long time to respond, it's because I'm purposely not opening your message, because otherwise I will sit there and go through everything and then I don't stop. So it's not a personal thing. It's I need to disconnect or I'm going to lose my mind. So just so you guys know, it's nothing personal towards you. I just have to set boundaries so that way I don't overdo it.
Yeah, I have to literally be in the mindset to respond to everything. Otherwise, like, I'll just get lost. Jessica says, "What are your markets?" And we'll just plow through them because we're almost done here. I think there's like 2 or 3 questions left. What are your markets and buy box? KJ actually has a wonderful post on her Instagram that's pinned, I believe. So if you go to her Instagram at KJ Mudd, it has our buy box there. I think it's like the first post or something up there.
And if y'all aren't following us already, please be nice and follow us. We could use some followers. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. We got to hit 1,000. I said I wanted it by the New Year's, but it's still January. We can do this. We're at like almost 700.
We got Josh Smith. What is your process/fee structure, if you have one, to help analyze and purchase multifamily properties for our personal portfolio? Meaning, like, what would we charge? Like an assignment or something? Is that maybe what you mean?
Is it like
Um,
to help you close the deal? Like to walk you through the process? Or is it like just to
That's what
help?
it sounds like, right? It sounds like he's asking what is our fee structure if
I think you should talk a little bit about the model that we are potentially leaning towards, and similar to what we're doing with Jabs, if you want to, Oscar.
yeah, sure. I mean, we had a group who brought us or who for example, we had a deal that didn't work out for us, not necessarily because it was a bad deal. It was just because our buy box is much different now. It has evolved, right? At the beginning, we were looking for 40 units minimum, 40 units and more. But now we're at the point where I think the last executive meeting that KJ and Aoni had by themselves, they basically decided for the team that we were going to tackle 100 units and above only, and they're kind of right because we need to get to our goal of 1,000 units by July of 2023. And in order for us to do that, we need to close 100 units or more very soon, like very very soon. And so this deal that came across our desk was like 30 plus units, and it was a fantastic deal. It really was. Like the returns were there, the underwriting was there. But we ourselves, we have to stay focused on what we're doing, Josh. And so we said, okay, why don't we take this deal on and give an opportunity to these people who are taking action and they want to get into multifamily. So we help them as far as like structuring the deal and doing all the stuff in the front end. So everything that has to do with sourcing, underwriting, um, yeah, correct me if I keep forgetting, Joseph, but all these things that have to be done at the front end, right, to get the deal started and to close it, right? So we have that we're doing that part and guiding them and showing them what to do, and then they'll take over once the deal has closed, right? They're obviously going to be involved throughout the entire process. That's what they're learning, but they're also going to head the rest of the deal once it's been closed. So they're going to take on the asset management and investor relations and whatever else might be involved here and there, but that's their responsibility once they close a deal. But we're the ones helping them get that the first steps, getting into their foot in the door, basically. And so that's how we've been structuring some of these smaller deals. We look for people who are action takers and people who we know that they've been proving themselves by bringing value and doing the right things that they're supposed to do, having a great mindset, growing, and so we would help with that process if the deal makes sense for us as well.
Yes, it's Jabs.
Yeah.
Jabs is the one. We
There
love him.
Okay, I got two last questions, and then we're done for the night here, guys. So they're really
let me
quick.
shout out Jabs' team real quick before we end it, because Jabs is watching here, and the reason he's watching is because he's wanting to learn. I just mentioned about growth mindset, right? Like a great mindset to keep going, and that's why he's here. He's in this room. I don't have to say what we're doing because Jabs and his team, they know what we're doing and they know what we're helping them with and where they're going. This will be their first multifamily deal, guys. Like if that's not powerful enough, like there should be some fires in the chat because that's their first multi-family deal that they're doing. So we're helping them structure the deal and get it across the finish line. And these guys, the reason why we love working with Jabs and his team, Jabs, Niles, and Ben, and then there's their other partner, Bernardo. Why we like working with them so much is because they've proven themselves to take action. They're not sitting here and just over analyzing or analysis paralysis. Like they're going just as fast as we are. I mean, whatever we tell them to do, they do it. So that's what I'm saying, guys, is we have the opportunity, you guys have the opportunity here to not only bring us deals, but in the chat, you should be working with each other, dude, so you guys can go and do deals together, right? And it's being in those right rooms that elevated these guys to get their first deal. So be in the right rooms, guys. Be networking with each other. Talk to Jabs and their team. Jabs is in the chat right now, guys. If you are not reaching out to Jabs, you should be reaching out to Jabs. And there's many great people in this chat right now. Squad up with each other. Bring deals to each other. Figure it out. Take action. Fall forward. Don't be scared. This is a team effort. Multifamily is a team sport. That team is only getting their first deal because they brought it to another team, and we're all working together. So squad up, guys. I wanted to say thank you, Jabs, for being here. Obviously, shout out Ben when you see him, and Niles and Bernardo as well. Thank you, guys.
Well said,
Teamwork.
bro.
Teamwork makes the
Well,
dream work.
100%.
And
It does.
it's so exciting, like, to be able to do it together, you know, and level up together and learn together. Because I mean, we haven't done an assumable loan before, so this will be a good experience for us.
The last two questions are really quick. We are not interested in hotels. We are focused on our goals. Our goals are specifically multifamily. We don't know much about hotels, and the fact that it's not, monthly pay, it's day to day and more upkeep. There's more moving parts that are involved, and that's just not what we're focused on right now. It may be somebody else's strategy. It's just not ours currently. And then the last one, no opportunity zones. Why? Similar answer, it's just not our focus, but there's also some connotations with opportunity zones. And I'm not saying it's always true, but the majority of properties that are in opportunity zones are not necessarily great locations or great properties. There usually a lot of negative things that come along with those properties. And we're just staying heavily focused on what we're looking for because we want to have easier first steps, right? We don't want to take on a huge challenge right away. We'd rather work up to getting into something of that more advanced level, right? Because running a property already is a lot of work. So running a property with a bunch of other things you have to look out for and things that need work and fixing and possible gang related violence at the next property over, like you don't know what's going on, right? It could be anything. I know I talked to one guy that had bought a property in New Mexico and he regretted it. He said, they told me it was a Class C, but it's more like a D-. I've already called the cops 3 times. That's what he told me. And he only had the property for a month. So it's not something that I want to get involved in. I know the team doesn't want to get involved in. It's more so down the road, just not right now. So that's why.
Yeah.
So, anything else, guys?
I want a property that, like Carlos says, that I can put in my wallet, like next to my child, and I'm proud of it. I don't want to be like embarrassed or scared or telling Joseph, "Where's your gun?"
Like, show me your child, and then you bring out your wallet, and it's like baby mud, and then baby 150 units or something.
That's funny.
I'm gonna have one of those wallets where you open it up and all the pictures pulled out.
Everything except the babies there is like all the pictures of the property.
Oh yeah, Jab said. We're also doing a single family flip with Jabs and his team.
Hell yeah.
So
Awesome. Well, tonight was good. I appreciate every single one of you who show up and support us and come hang out with us. Like, you guys make it fun and you always ask really good questions. I think tonight we got some really good questions that we haven't had before. And Vina hopped on. That was even more awesome too. Like and follow, subscribe. It would mean a lot. Follow us on Instagram. I don't know what else. What other announcements? Oh, we're gonna do a underwriting session. Has to be in like the next 2 weeks. We're gonna pick a date. It's on my calendar to like start planning it. Probably maybe next week or the following week because I'm not gonna make it after that.
Yeah. Good thing you said that because everyone who's been asking, the napkin underwriting looks good. What do I do next? This will be the underwriting for you. We're going to break down the underwriting. Joseph and Ione are going to do some freaking amazing stuff on the underwriting, and you will get to learn how to deep dive underwrite a deal. Don't miss it. You got to be in the right rooms, guys. We invested in ourselves. KJ will tell you this all day. Over 100,000 between us collectively, or more. It's probably more than that actually now.
More by now, yeah.
Yeah, collectively throughout the entire years that we've had, definitely over 100,000 to learn the underwriting, not just the underwriting, but learn what we've learned now. So if you guys, you need to be in those right rooms, and it is going to be more than likely a paid Zoom, but this will be nothing compared to what we paid to learn this stuff. Nothing at all. So you better be in those rooms taking advantage of everything coming from the best.
And there's only 100 spots.
Yeah.
I can't figure out how to upgrade the Zoom, so there's only 100 spots.
Guys, we tried looking into getting more spots, but the price went from like 100, 150 per month to like a couple thousand a month. So it was a very drastic change, and we're just not quite there yet. So we tried making the change.
But
And
I mean, this is good. This will weed out the people who aren't action takers. The people who got grit and determination will invest in themselves and show up. And the people that need to be in our circle will be there. So I'm excited for it. I'm going to take the time and make some really beautiful slides for you visionaries. So that way it can go along with Joseph and Ione's integrations.
Well, basically, what I'm going to do, or what I plan to do, is to just whip out the analyzer and take some deals that we've been working on and just re-underwrite them right in front of you. I mean, obviously, I'm just going to change the name and not say whatever the name of the property is, but I'll take some that aren't good and I'll take some that are good with different scenarios, right? And we'll just run through them and just see what we can make happen.
Yeah, and we can do case studies as well on the deals that we've done.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, let us know. Like, go post in the Facebook group and let us know, or maybe I'll make a poll. Like, I'm thinking we should do this on a Saturday. That way, more people can join, and that way it's not during work hours and stuff like that. Make it more accessible, and then there might be a surprise that we're working up that might be included. Maybe we'll have to see. I need to talk with Ione, but
I was over here like, what surprise? This is a surprise to me.
You're like, what? A surprise?
They make executive decisions, guys, but it's okay. We trust them.
Well, you guys know, maybe you just don't realize what I'm talking about, but there might be a surprise. So
no, I'm kidding.
Okay. Well, we appreciate all of you coming on here. Are we gonna do Friday Zoom this week?
Yes. Unless otherwise stated. Yes.
Okay, well, let us know what topics that you want us to do a Zoom on for Friday. What do you guys want to learn about or hear about, and we can talk about it. And then we'll start
in the Facebook group.
And we'll start planning the underwriting group. I mean the underwriting. Oh my God.
Underwriting Zoom.
We know what you meant.
It's bedtime. Well, thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you,
if you got value from this, we appreciate you guys shouting us out. It definitely makes our day. So hope you guys had a happy new year. It's time to get back on the grind, even though everybody took off today. I couldn't do stuff I needed to do. But it was okay. We're gonna crush it this week. Okay, guys. Let me
Bye, guys.
Cue out outro.